What's up, guys? Andrew here from IGN. I am with Josh Jeffcoat from Gearbox. How you doing, Josh?
Hey, what's going on, man? Glad to be back.
Yeah, I am too. And today we're seeing Headhunter 4, I believe.
Number 4, yeah. This one is Mad Moxxi and the Wedding Day Massacre. So this is our little release here for Valentine's Day.
Very cool. And we're in, we're seeing a brand new area. We're just coming here for the first time. Kind of tell us what we can expect from this new place.
Well, this one takes place at what we call our Rotgut Distillery. So you'll see alcohol playing into this this adventure quite a bit, actually. One of the things you'll also see here is that it's actually raining pretty heavily out here. We actually experimented with doing some new weather effects in Borderlands that we've never done before. So here it's kind of raining outside, but we have a pair of lovers here out here by the wishing well, and it looks like they're in love. They're having a little special moment here. Oh, or maybe they're not. So, yeah, it's kind of nasty out here today, and that might be a sign of things to come, unfortunately.
For sure, the storm's coming. Bad omen basin. That puts it well.
Yeah.
And you mentioned this is Valentine's Day. I mean, the fun thing with the previous ones is that you guys kept them holiday themed, but kind of subverted that and kind of messed around with it.
Oh yeah. That's half the fun is finding ways to approach it a little differently than we normally would. So. Here we have Mad Moxxi here. She's going to be our quest giver for this particular little adventure.
Let's go talk to the preacher I hired.
The overall story here is the two of the most visible families that we've kind of visited in Borderlands are the Zafars and the Hodonks, and we've been kind of nasty to both families over the course of the game here.
There he is.
But Moxxi, she kind of wants to make peace between the families. So she has a plan here. The player's going to do a little bit of work for her, and we're going to see if we can bring these two families back together.
It's interesting, kind of the history going all the way back between the two of them. You've always got kind of these turf wars between them. I know there's that long mission in the main game.
Yes.
Some interesting questions about the paternity of Scooter and Ellie as well. This is cool too. The art with the stained glass stuff it almost harkens back to the vending machines in Tiny Tina.
From Tiny Tina's, yeah.
That kind of new design.
Yeah, we had a lot of inspiration from that stuff. I mean, we grab pieces from anywhere we can to put these together. So we enjoyed giving Moxxi her little umbrella out here in the rain.
Yeah.
So
violence won't solve this.
If you actually just saw there, Ellie just chimed in for a little bit. Ellie has a lot to say during this DLC as well, and she doesn't always agree with Moxxi as far as how we should treat these two families.
Really is in the air. Good luck.
So Moxxi's going to send us off on our way into the main portion of this level. You'll notice that the rain just kind of stopped and it's cleared up a little bit. It's still kind of foggy and muggy out here, but we're kind of going out here into a new little town.
So the weather effects were kind of created for this, I assume. Is that something we might see more of, moving forward, or is that just kind of to set the tone as this begins?
We thought it was really important to set the tone here, and we had the time to kind of do some experiments with it. So previously in Borderlands, we have a day-night cycle system that we use, and we hijacked that same system, but built all new effects into it to simulate weather instead of simulating day or night. So it was just a fun little challenge, and it adds a lot to the atmosphere of the level. So it's just something we had fun doing.
Awesome.
So here we actually, up on top of these docks up above, there are some Hodonk family members who were dynamite fishing here in this little pond. So there's some threshers have kind of invaded these areas here. Gonna take care of him.
Threshers are always brutal fights, or at least in my experience.
Yeah. Well, we're starting real small here, so these are just little tiny pond threshers. But right up here on the corner, we're going to get to the meat of the story. If you listen real carefully, you can hear them arguing. We're walking in on a lover's quarrel.
Sounds like the Valentine's Day I know and love.
Yes.
I'll fix you up, you stupid.
Hey, watch your language. If you hadn't lost the baby a day ago, he would have heard that.
They'll sit here and they'll argue with one another for quite some time, but you can sit there, you can interrupt it, you don't have to wait for them. So these are our two lovebirds here in this DLC, Colin and Bridget. they are from, one of them is from the Zafar family, one of them is from the Hodong family, and in a drunken stupor one night, one of them knocked up the other, we'll say. So their families aren't too happy about that, but Moxxi is going to use this as an opportunity. We'll get them married, we'll bring the families together, maybe we can have a happily ever after ending out of this. Of course, it's Borderlands, so
Yeah.
I'll let you guess if you think it's actually going to work.
Yeah, I don't think Pandora's a very friendly place in that regard.
Yeah.
I do kind of love that the male Goliath just looks exactly the female Goliath, just with the top hat. That's really funny.
Well, it's sort of like dwarves. So yeah, right now the Hodonks are they're having a little party out here. They're not really doing a whole lot. So got a couple guys working on a car. So we kind of wanted to show a little bit of the life of the families whenever they're not constantly fighting all the time. So Moxxi had the idea that if we brew a love potion, we can get these two couples together. And for the love potion, they want to get something new, something old, something borrowed, and something gold.
Oh.
And Ellie insists that she's got that rhyme wrong. Like, it's not, like, something there's not right. But we're going to go and get a few things here. The first thing you'll find is that we actually have a Goliath baby that's apparently just been abandoned, sort of left in this van. And Ellie says we should take the baby. Moxxi doesn't really think we should, but Ellie insists. So we're going to take the baby, and it turns out that the baby counts as something new and something borrowed because we just stole a baby.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair designation.
Yeah. Now that obviously kind of pisses off the rest of the Hodonk clan, so the Hodonks are no longer going to be friendly to us.
Yeah, I feel like the Hodonks were more used to fighting, and whereas the Zaffards of the other family, they had the Wake in Borderlands 2, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, they're more used to drinking.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, most of them were in the Holy Spirits bar out by Overlook. But we're going to see up here pretty soon some more history on the Zafar family and what they do when they're not in the bar.
It's kind of cool how you guys have been able to keep that story going. You know, it's always interesting watching them kind of evolve.
Oh, and we have awesome new music for all these DLCs. So this is sort of a fun little jig in the vein of the Zaffards, because this whole area is a Zafard area. So the Hodonks are here visiting at the motel that was just we were just at around the corner. So up ahead here we have Zafard's Rotgut Distillery. So this is actually where most of their liquor is made.
Which is pretty important to them then.
Oh, it's vitally important to them.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we've been locked out, and we're going to have someone help us get in. So here we're meeting Ed. Ed is a junk bot. He used to work for the Zaffards, but he's been kicked out, and he's kind of sad because he doesn't really have a purpose in life anymore. But his girlfriend is still inside, so we're going to use that as leverage to convince him to help us break back in so he can reunite with his girlfriend, because it's Valentine's Day. It's about love.
All kinds of love stories.
We're going to bring these two lovebirds together. But he's also going to break everything open for us.
I like getting a little more of the Irish vibe here.
Yeah, this is absolutely their home territory. So there's a lot of that kind of going on here. So, and if you look back behind you, you'll see that got to get up quick. So the bot here will actually help us in the fight. Only as long as you stay close to him, because he doesn't have the self-confidence to do it by himself. So as long as you stay close to him, the bot will keep going. He'll help you fight here. You see all those lasers flying by, that's all coming from him.
Awesome. It's nice already mixing up the combat too, because obviously, like, starting with Threshers, moving on to kind of human opponents. I would guess there's going to be some Goliath stuff upcoming.
We try to have a good variety. and all these little DLCs. So it's sort of a weird mix because normally you wouldn't have the Zafar type folks and the loaders kind of walking around and doing stuff.
I mean, it's cool though because you guys have that gigantic pool of enemy types to choose from now. You know, it's we're approaching a year and a half from release on this game at this point, so you guys definitely have plenty to pull from.
Yeah. No, we have so much fun, basically remixing enemies and creating new variants. Like this is just a brand new enemy here, one of our badass Zafar clans. Every once in a while, you'll see them carrying big barrels of beer. And sometimes they'll use those as weapons too. But so he's letting us back here into the distillery.
Junkbot! Oh, how I've missed you.
Oh, Stella! I've noticed that beautiful blonde hair anywhere.
Like the 8-bit hearts here.
You gotta find the high quality old stuff. You'd better put your lips around a few until you find the right barrel.
So we have our two bots in love. We've reunited them. We'll come back. We'll talk to them later. So, we're going to find something old. So we're looking through all the whiskey barrels here. We want to find the oldest whiskey, the absolute best whiskey, so we're going to try a few of them.
Considering the drinking age here is probably like birth, I guess it's okay to drink this stuff.
You can still see straight. You haven't found
And this is actually one of the opportunities with one of the new systems that we added for Tiny Tina's DLC, where we actually have character-specific dialogue happening. Players responded really well to that stuff. And turns out it was pretty easy to implement. So we actually have started doing more with that work to get more of the actual your player characters, more of their personality into the story of what's going on. So several times you'll hear your character responding in their own way. So we actually have unique dialogue and story moments for each player class.
That's really cool. I think that I agree. I think that's actually a really cool system to have in there because it was kind of fun, especially with the way the Tiny Tina DLC worked, that like as stuff got weird in the environment to kind of hear the player reacting.
Yeah.
There go those lovebirds.
So we have 3 parts of our potion, but the last part is something gold. And here in the heart of the Zafar facility, it looks like we have a little rainbow leading to a pot of gold there in the background. So I think that pot of gold might be something interesting we want to check out.
Yeah, I guess worth pointing out that unlike Thanksgiving, Halloween, Christmas, there are kind of a couple holidays happening at this time of year.
Yeah, because Valentine's and St. Patrick's Day were so close. And we wanted to use the Zafars, and you can't do Zafars without kind of a nod to St. Patrick. So, so we decided to kind of put a little bit of both here. Now that looks like it's a little out of reach. We may have to kind of go around. So it looks like they've had some flooding here in the distillery. If you'll notice that the threshers that we have here, they're actually tipsy threshers. They're a little drunk because this is all whiskey that's just been spilling out everywhere. So these threshers specifically act a little different. Sometimes they pass out, sometimes they just throw up and leave. But they're soaking in whiskey, so if they hit you, you kind of get a little contact drunk from them. So they're really fun because they mess with your vision. So we're just gonna kind of run away from that for a little bit.
Was the drunkenness thing, was that something that's fairly easy to implement, or is that something that
it's all, the development cycle, we had so many different things that we wanted to try, and the idea of wanting to find whiskey for something old, like we knew that we wanted to do that pretty early on, and then one of the effects artists had the idea for doing the screen effects to make it look like you were drunk. And then we figured out how to do the first-person camera animation so that it makes you like kind of lean in like you're going to drink from the spigot. And then once all that was implemented, our creature designer, Robert Anderson, had the idea of, well, we already have all the drunk effects, and if we were going to have threshers in the distillery, it'd be awesome if they were drunk.
Yeah.
So it's just basically people reacting to other people. So up ahead here we have the pot of gold.
Awesome. Well, I think we don't want to spoil too much more of this, so I think we'll kind of end it here. But I definitely appreciate you taking the time to introduce this to us. And this is Headhunter 4, like we mentioned. I believe this one's going to be out in February.
Should be out in February. Just double checking there. The DLC is actually going to be out on February 11th. So Mad Moxxi and the Wedding Day Massacre, February 11th, right before Valentine's Day.
Awesome. Well, Josh, I appreciate you taking the time. For all of your Borderlands 2 needs, keep it locked to IGN.